Alright lovely people, here we have the Granny V-Stitch Blanket. Okay, and this is the tutorial we'll be working on today. Just sitting with my blanket is some of the other items that I've made with the leftover yarn. We're doing the tutorial just on the blanket today. Having said that, I just wanted to show you the little jacket and the beanie and the booties that came out from the leftover yarn that I had. I sort of did have to play with colour a little bit there, as you can see. But the blanket itself is going to be gorgeous, and it's just a basic Granny V-stitch, so you shouldn't have too many problems with it. Okay, let's get started. Alright, the yarn we're using today is Caron Cakes. This is a beautiful colour. I love this colour, and once it's complete it makes gorgeous colours, and I love the different shades. The only thing, again, I've stated that earlier probably in the beginning, and I'll state it now, and I'll state it probably at the end of the tutorial as well. The thread match didn't actually match up at the end of each row of my blanket. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that, that it didn't have a gradual change into the next colour. Even though it looks like you get your little reds, a little bit of red in each of that beige colour there, you think it's going to be gradually clicking onto that red, but it doesn't. It gives it a cut off. So if you're in the middle of a row, you know, you've got to either take it undone or you've got to continue with the red, and it looks a bit funny. That's my opinion. Some people just keep going and they like the look of it. Me, not so much. I'm very fussy. Okay, the hook size used is, and was, and still is, going to be a size 5mm hook, because this particular pattern can look a little bit bulky if you use a larger hook, or a little bit gappy, and it's not supposed to be gappy. The V-stitch, the normal V-stitch can be gappy, but this is the double crochet V-stitch. This is the non-gap V-stitch, if that helps. Okay, so we're going to start. It doesn't matter how many you chain on. For my blanket, I chained on, I think it was 102 or 100 and whatever else. All you need to remember is a multiple of 2. Okay? That's all you need to remember. Okay? So make a loop. If you are not familiar with these stitches, double crochet or chains, please go and have a bit of a practice with some of my previous tutorials and come back to us. In the meantime, we're going to get started. So chain up whatever you like. I will chain up 102, I think, and then we'll get going. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and way up to whatever you want, and I'll meet you up. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch. Oh, I just split the yarn there, didn't I? Excuse me. Single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Okay? So single crochet into each stitch. Oh, this grey is a very difficult colour to see, but I wanted to show you in this particular yarn because this is the way the blanket's going to work out. Okay, so single crochet all the way across, and I shall meet you up. Okay, this is where we should be with the last 2 stitches here. My apologies, out of frame there, sorry about that. Single crochet there, single crochet there. All right, let me show you what we have so far. What we have is a gazillion single crochets. All right. None of them mean anything right now, and they won't until we start doing our double crochet, our V double crochet stitch. Okay, so let's get ready and let's get started with our V-stitch. All right, so let's just blow this up a little bit, make it bigger. We turn our work, okay. We chain up 3, or you can chain 3 and then turn, whichever suits you. 1, 2, 3. Now most people don't have a row of single crochet on their V-stitch double crochet, or double crochet V-stitch, sorry. I put the row of single crochet because I like to have a base row, okay, but you don't need to. You could have just worked in your chains. Okay, so just into that next stitch we're going to do, I'm lying, not the next stitch, excuse me. In the same stitch we'll put a double crochet Okay, and then we will skip two, skip one and pop it in that second. So we're doing a double crochet in the second one, and then we're doing another double crochet in the same stitch. So that's pretty much what you have so far. No, I think we needed a third one in there. My apologies, we'll take that undone. We needed a third one in there. Sorry about that, lovely people. So we got one and now two. Let's blow it up a little bit more, get closer. And there's a third one in there. Okay. All right, now we skip one and we put two double crochets in the next one. Skip one and put two double crochets in the next one. Skip one and two double crochets in the next one. And I'll just show you what we have so far. Pull it up. Okay, that's what you have so far. So you're skipping one and you're putting two double crochets in the next. Skip one, two in the next. Skip two in the next. Do that all the way across and I will meet you up. All right, we're at the end of our row. We've got two chains left, or two spaces left, depending on whether you did single crochets or just left them as chains. Okay, so what we're going to do is skip one and we put a normal double crochet into that very last stitch. I may have said to before when you're doing the turn to put in 3 chain, but actually start putting in 2 chains when you turn your work. So you go 1, 2, all right? So it might have been 3 before, but we're going to be putting in 2 from now on. Okay, so we're going to be, all we've done is we've turned our work, we've chained up 2, or chained up 2 and turned our work, doesn't matter either way, as long as you stay consistent. And we pop another double crochet or a double crochet in between the 2 double crochet from earlier. We pop 1 and we pop 2. Okay. And then we just pop a 2 double crochet in each one of these double crochets all the way across. So this is a very basic blanket. It's great for beginners, and yet, as you saw in the previous section, the blanket does look beautiful. It's a lovely colour. I know I've showed in the description a full set, the little jacket, the booties and the beanie, but I'll only be doing a tutorial on the blanket. Okay, so continue this all the way across and I'll meet you up. All right, so here we are near the end. We've got our last V-stitch and then we've got these chains. So we're going to do the last V-stitch in there, like so. And then we're just going to do a double crochet in the top of that 3rd chain. Nice tight stitching I've got there. All right. So initially what you have, let me reach this out a bit, spread it out a bit. Initially what you have is that right now. Okay, nothing fancy, but you can, if you get a close-up, see the V's. All right. So what I want you to do, the best part is, see this row that we just finished? Get a little up there. This row we just finished, you are going to repeat that row over and over and over again until you get to your desired length. Okay, now I don't know what my desired length was. I can't even remember now, but that's neither here nor there. At the end of the tutorial, the beginning of the tutorial, I will have a full measurement of my blanket. Okay, so just repeat that over and over again. The other thing I was wanting to show you, if you're a stickler like me and you didn't like the way the yarn cuts in the middle and you've got half a row grey and then half a row of this colour and you wanted it to be right at the end, cut your yarn and just add it on to the end of the row and restart it that way. So when you're doing your last stitch, you're doing your normal double crochet, you get halfway through the stitch, stop there, drop your colour, find your new colour, if I can find it, and just pull your new colour through that last stitch. Then, okay, chain up your 2, 1, 2, and give that a little bit of a tug so you don't want it too loose, and start your normal V-stitch as you would any other row. Oops, not split like that though. As you would any other row, and continue that way, because honestly people, I can't stand having a colour change right in the end of a row, in the middle of a row, right where I'm in the middle of a pretty stitch like this, because it can be noticeable. Okay, so it's quite a sharp change into the next colour. So continue with this pattern until you get to the desired length, and I will meet you up and we will do that final row. All right, lovely people, here we are at the end of our final row of the blanket. Isn't this exciting? We've finally got through it. Okay, so I just wanted to lay mine out for you just to show you the different colour layer of the yarn that we used. Okay, so it has a brown and it has a red, it has a little whitey or beigey, we'll call it a beige red dot thing. Then it goes into light grey and it goes into dark grey. And then it pretty much starts again that way. Now my blanket turned out exactly even here on each colour. Not because that's how it turned out, but because, as I said before, yours truly cut hers to suit, okay? I cut different threads of that skein of yarn, or whatever you want to call it, ball of yarn, because I don't like it when the grey would, I'll show you close up, where the grey would end here, and then you'd end up with all these whites there, and you'd have 3/4 of a row grey, say 3/4 of a row grey, and 1/4 of the row white. It just wasn't me. I needed everything to be neat and in correct order, which is how I explained that earlier. Having said that, let's get on with the border. Not exactly the border, it's just a last row of this blanket, okay? Now the reason we're doing a final row, if you remember correctly, right at the very beginning, we did the single crochet foundation row. So it kind of complete, let me get a nice close up there, oh, too close, sorry. It kind of completed that row, or started that row to make it look neat and straight. Well, we're going to do the same with the top. The V's are still there, and we are going to keep it a nice, we're going to close it up, in other words, close up your V's, okay? So now let's turn our work around now. It's a lot more fiddly now because it's all grown up and it's nice and big, and we love a nice big warm blanket, especially since it's autumn now. Lovely people, it's autumn here in Australia, autumn 2018. Okay, so nice close up of the stitches so you can see. All right, so all the way across you have your normal V's that we look at on crochet. Okay, now it's hard to see with this yarn being a dark grey there, or grey, but you can see it from here. You've got your little gap there, your gap there, your gap there, all the way across. And what you're doing is you're putting a single crochet in each one of those gaps, starting from the very first one you come to. Okay, so did I say chain one? There's one chain. Sorry about that. I don't know if I did that beforehand or now. Okay, so you pop your hook in that V, or in that, I'm sorry, not the V, in the little the space there, and you do your normal single crochet there. Okay, see that next space? It's part of the V-stitch, but we're going to put it in the little space and do a single crochet. Next space, single crochet. Now, we're putting it in the stitch, not in the space, the whole space itself, but actually in the stitch. That's where we need to put it. So we're going to be doing our single crochets all the way across. And I mentioned that this is a basic blanket, and so far it's been basic. If you're new to crochet, it will be exactly the same, except your stitches may be a little bit tighter or looser than what you see here. Because remember, crocheting is all about tension and getting the tension right. It took me years to get the tension right, and we are talking years to get the tension right. And even now I still crochet very, very tightly. So, you know, it's your own personality and the way you crochet, okay? I think that everyone's crochet brings out their own personality, and my crochet can at times be a little bit eccentric, and then there are times where it can be dull and boring, where bits of that personality come out, and it's okay, you know. All right, so what I want you to do, continue that single crochet all the way, and when I say it does finish off the row, look, it looks nice and neat, and just looks nice and neat, but when you look at it like this, it looks what I would call undressed. Okay, so clothed and undressed, that's my little way of saying things. So what I want you to do, continue that row until you get to the very end, and I'll meet you up. Alright, so here we are at the very end of our row. I have 2 final stitches to go, single crochet in there and a single crochet in that stitch right there. Now it hasn't ended there because that's the last V, but there's still that little tiny stitch that we've been fussing to get through after every row, that really tight stitch right there. You need to get a single crochet in there as well. So lovely people, what you have right now is one complete blanket. Isn't this exciting? Pull that little thread through there. And I actually left some thread here so that I can show you what I meant by changing the colours at the end of the row. What I would do, by one stage, one of the colours ended up around down here somewhere. And I thought, oh, I'll take it undone and I'll just crochet tighter and I'll do it a bit more tighter. And it just went on, and I ended up just saying, forget it. I cut it and I just added the colour at the end of each row. So it was there. And I think the only colours I didn't add was from the brown to the grey. They married up, which was a bonus, and they married up on both ends. So it was an absolute bonus there. So I didn't have to cut any thread there, but everywhere else I had to cut threads. So yes, that particular yarn is a lovely yarn. It's beautiful and soft, and I haven't washed it yet, but when I do wash it, I'll be washing it and blocking it, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to put an extra added border on, because it has finished it off there and started it off neatly on the bottom and the tops. But on the side, I would like to do something a little with that. I'm thinking another tutorial is going to come of this. I know I can't help myself, lovely people. It never ends. I do 1,000 tutorials and I just don't have enough time. So what we're going to do while we're still here is weave in these ends. Now I can't find my actual weaving needle. That went missing over the past 10 minutes. So I've found this little really big thing. And let's just see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to take it undone and sew with another sewing needle. But this is what you need to do, lovely people. Oh, it's so far away. How can you see what I'm doing? Okay, you need to, if you've got ends like I have, weave them in. Weave them in through the sides of your crochet. Now, I literally split the yarn when I weave mine. Okay, so it kind of looks like there's been no thread there at all. And then I usually, and I actually always do, not usually, I always put a border on my blankets. It's something I've always liked doing. I think, like I said earlier, I feel they're a little bit undressed. If you don't, some people don't agree with borders. You know, they think the blanket stands on its own. Well, that by all means, that's fine. But I do like to put a border. Now see how I've weaved that in twice? I've weaved it in one side this way, and then one side that way. What we're going to do, because I'm a stickler at these things, I'm going to weave it one more time. And then once again, I'm going to be putting a border over it. So there is no way this thread's going to come undone. You know, you wash after wash after wash, it is not going to come undone. Okay, that's a one. And now the red, because it's a different colour, goes the other way. Okay, so it's entirely up to you whether you want to put a border on. I will be doing a tutorial on a border because I've just decided right now this very second, as you do. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Please click like if you like this tutorial, and don't forget to visit my Etsy and my madeit.com.au stores, and keep your eyes peeled because I will be uploading a border for this blanket. Probably not for a little while yet, maybe another, oh no, couple of weeks when I get some time, because I'm in the middle of some massive projects at the moment, and some very interesting things to come on our YouTube channel here. All right, so there you have it. That particular thread is done. All right, so put that little needle there, or needle, big needle. So there you go, hardly noticeable. All right, actually it is noticeable, it's not noticeable. Does that make any sense? All right, so there you go. Don't forget to weave in this little guy up here. Weave in your last end and weave in your first end from the beginning. I've already done that, so that's fine. I'll have a bit of a flash at the beginning of the video of the blanket in full, so you can see how mine turned out in full. But right now, thank you so much for watching. Click like on this tutorial if you like it, and ciao for now.